Now folks, we did have a little technical issue with the microphones a few moments ago, but they're all fixed now. And joining me now is our General Manager of Sales, Mandy Worth. Thanks for joining me again on the show, Mandy.
Glad to be here, Tim. After a nice Christmas break, it's nice to be back in the trenches.
It is, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Now Mandy, we've been talking about the Fluerieu and some of the beautiful homes down there. Tell me a little bit about what's happening down there from your point of view.
I was down there on Monday, Tim, and what a beautiful spot. It really is a great spot for anybody to be, especially when the weather's shining and sun shining and surf's up. Great spot. Things are moving along really well down there at the present moment. You've got some really good eco developments coming along. There's development right along the waterfront in Victor Harbour, where we're trying to encourage people to, look for something like that that's a great holiday destination, something that they can use as an investment for future. We've got a great property that I know we're going to showcase on the show later on at Clayton Bay,
yes,
which is just beautiful, and I think there's a lot to offer in the area at the present moment.
Definitely. The top end of the market probably interests a lot of people, whether it's just curiosity or for their own purchasing point of view. The market is starting to move in that area again, I believe?
Yes, it is. I think like anywhere, everything was drawn back slightly when the financial crisis came through, and everybody just sat back and was watching to see what happened. But in the last few months, the top end, surprisingly enough, around the Fluerieu has started to move. So that's a great thing for those people that have been sitting on their properties for a while wondering what to do with them. And there's some really beautiful property on the market in that area at the present moment. Of course, from a real estate point of view, we're always looking for more. And there is purchasers out there looking for that type of property because they're realising that that's a great destination for them to go to on holidays. It's an hour and 15 out of the city, and if you take the drive like I do through the hills, it's a very pretty drive. So that end is really quite popular at the moment.
Are we seeing people buying properties to develop as well at the moment now? With that slowdown, they've emerged into that market again?
I think you'll find that if anybody's visiting the Fluerieu at the moment, there is quite a bit of development happening, and future development has been talked about non-stop, just for the growth that we're predicting that's going to happen down there. I said there's developers looking, there are people looking at the moment for 5 to 20 acres to move to, and at some point those type of acreages will become development. There's plenty of space down there for that type of growth, and it will certainly move inland, but it's still a beautiful place to be moving inland to, because you're still only 10-15 minutes from the ocean. Yeah.
With those sorts of properties, you imagine lifestyle properties for families and so forth, and there's an upgrade for the high school and the TAFE college, I believe?
Yeah, I believe so too, which I think is great for the youth of the community. The youth of the community of Victor Harbour would always have to come to the city to do the extra training that they needed to do, or the extra schooling they wanted for their career. But by upgrading the high school and the TAFE, they're actually opening the door to keep the youth there. I know from our point of view, we're looking for a trainee in the area at the present moment, because we want to do what we can to develop the youth and to try and grow some really great real estate people. The way to do that is get them as trainees and bring them through. So we would like to try and contribute to that and keep the youth there.
We might talk about our office in a moment, but
sure.
The growth pattern expected over the next 40 years is about 110,000 new bodies in Victor Harbour. What about the infrastructure? Because that's always very important to cope with the new people. Is there much development planned in the commercial sphere?
At the present moment, I do know there is a shopping complex being looked at for Encounter Bay. There also has been work done on the shopping complex in Victor at the present moment. I think there's a little bit more to do before it's complete. And I was spent a couple of weekends down there near the end of last year. The Rock and Roll Festival is a big thing for the Victor Harbour area and Fluerieu, and we of course helped sponsor that. So we were there for that weekend, and I know they're doing lots to upgrade the main street of Victor Harbour to ensure the growth, because there's still, the people that come there, we want them to stay there.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. What about the rental market for some of these properties? I mean, obviously there's the holiday rental and the full-time rental. Has there been a lot of movement in rents and so forth over the last couple of months?
I think you'll find in those areas rents yield a fairly good return.
Yeah.
There's of course a lot of holiday rentals there for short-term rentals, and if you need help with that, we're only too happy to help you out. And same with permanent rentals. I think there's room for growth, and I think they're getting a really good return on what's going on down there at the present moment.
Indicatively, if I was looking for a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom holiday home for a week on the beachfront, what sort of money would I expect to pay?
Oh, I think you might be asking the wrong person for that, but I really think if it's right on the beachfront and depending on how long you stay and at the time of the year, I think that really determines what you're going to pay. I think anywhere in the summer months, those holiday months, it can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000, depending on what you're actually looking for at that time.
And that peak period, I imagine, covers Christmas, but does it extend much beyond?
If you speak to our girls at the moment, I think you think that extends right through the year. Holiday rentals in that area.
Obviously long weekends.
Yes, booms
sort of
all the time.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the busy time. The summer months, you're always going to get something that's consistently turning over. But right up until Easter time, I think, is the boom time.
Okay.
And so you get plenty happening down there then.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, well, with some more of the Fluerieu, let's go to Behind the Blinds.